원하는 대로 펼쳐지다. 하나투어.
새로워진 하나투어 공식 인증 예약센터와 하나투어 앱에서 만나보세요.
Well, joining me to talk about postnatal care here in Korea for Kids Culture Club today is our guest, Jem.
Hello, everybody.
Good afternoon, Jem.
Good afternoon.
New hair.
New hair. If you can see me on the
I'm
radio.
I'm wearing black and I have darker skin than Jem and my hair is black. Now, if you look at me, if you're looking at us on our viewable radio, you barely can see me sitting on this chair, but you can see Jem like instantly.
standing out. I was trying to be like Elsa. I want to be like
On summer?
in summer. That's true. I should be an ice queen in winter, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that should stay till winter.
Okay, I'll hold it.
Well, anyway, 7400 was asking me something earlier on. I had a cesarean section, so I don't really know if it hurts, those kind that you see on movies or on dramas. How about you?
Oh, right. So I had 2 natural births.
Okay.
Yes. And
Normal deliveries?
I was
Wow.
laughing. Actually, I shouldn't say natural because natural usually means without painkiller,
Yeah.
without an epidural or medicine. However, is it painful? That is the question people ask a lot.
Okay.
And I say the people who do it without medicine, you're a hero. You are a
Yeah.
star. But I had medicine and I can say I didn't feel too much pain at
Oh,
all. So if
wow.
you're thinking about kids, don't be scared.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't be scared too much.
7400, you have an option to have some medicine. Sometimes you actually see them online, especially when that particular time where the trend was actually giving birth on water.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And it's still trendy in the USA, actually. yes.
Wow.
And-
So no painkillers, no nothing.
They just do it naturally. And, thinking about television shows, they give you this idea that giving birth is very painful. You always see the women screaming and crying. But the actual doctor said screaming doesn't help.
Okay.
So I was laughing. That was something that was really surprising.
Okay.
Reality versus what you see on TV. But
Wow.
don't believe everything you see.
Okay.
Feel it for yourself.
Feel it for yourself. You actually have to have kids to do that. A395. I want to read this before we
Yeah.
go on to postnatal because we're talking about kids. A395 said 40대 되기 직전에 덕거리로 아들을 출산했어요. 노산이라 재력적, 종식적 소모가 크고 힘들지만 아이는 참 예뻐요. 조금만 젊었다면 둘째 계획했을 텐데 아쉽네요. So A395 had a son. She gave birth to her son just before she hit 40. And because, it's giving birth at a rather late of an age, it took her a lot of physical stress. It's difficult for her physically and, of course, mentally as well. But the baby is really beautiful. And if she was just a bit younger, she would have planned for a second baby.
But one is good. One is good. And if you have such a beautiful baby, it's worth it, right?
Yeah, there you go. Congratulations, A395. Anyway, well, our topic for today is about postnatal care, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
So actually, today's topic is kind of all sorts of topics for expectant mothers,
Okay.
right? We talk a lot about what it's like raising kids, but being an expectant mother in a foreign country, it's not easy, right?
Yeah. And I know a lot of the rules, a lot of the policies have changed as well since I last gave birth. And that was 28 years ago? Well, anyway.
I plan to ask you, yes. It's really hard to navigate where even to begin. So I kind of want to focus today on things that they could expect because as a foreign woman living in Korea, even if your partner is Korean, if it's your first child, your spouse might not know what steps to take either. So,
yes.
so did you also give birth here in Korea?
I did. I actually did. And as I've said, I had like cesarean section. So CS, I did not have any choice because my son, water broke and I did not go into labor.
Really?
Yes,
Oh.
you're supposed to go into labor according to dramas and movies.
Right. Also
You're
in the
su-
movies,
Yes,
it's very
you're
dramatic.
If your water breaks, you're supposed to go into labor. So that's when you actually have to feel the pain. But I did not feel anything and they have to induce me. But still, after like 24 hours, nothing happened. So I had to go through an operation for my first child, which means I actually have to be operated again for my second child.
Oh, right. Normally that's the way. With the first, you have to do the same procedure for the second.
Yeah. Now, how about
Yes.
you?
Well, yeah, I also gave birth to both children here, once in a kind of small local hospital and once in a university hospital. And, the first big difference you might feel between the two is price.
Okay.
However, it's not as big of a gap as you may think. Maybe you've heard, or maybe you've discussed before, the Korean government actually issues a card to all expectant mothers.
Oh.
It is called the Pretty Mom Card.
Pretty mom card
Or
or 고운 맘 카드.
고운
Yeah.
Mom Card in Korean.
Yeah, I think we talked about this with Anna, but anyway, this is the pretty mom card or 고운 맘 card, which did not exist when I gave birth.
I was curious about that. So that's fairly new, right?
Yeah.
Well, the amount changes every year, but basically it operates like a credit card that has money prepaid on it for your hospital visits. So as of this year, January 1st, 2022, expectant mothers could expect to receive about 600,000 won for one child and 1 million won if you have twins or more.
Ooh, or triplets.
Or triplets, if you can
quadruplets.
imagine.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And, that should all be used up within a period of 1 year. So,
After you received it, right?
right. And it seems like that is exactly the perfect amount to cover all of the...
Oh, really?
Yeah, doctor's visits. Maybe not the delivery itself,
But
but
the visits.
the visits, which are usually monthly or every 6 weeks or
Yeah.
so.
Well, I haven't, honestly, I don't remember a thing anymore that I did back 20 something years ago. So, yeah, but this is really good. This is something big for moms, especially, for a country which has like the lowest birth rate in the entire world.
Right, right. So I believe that is the purpose behind this card is to increase the birth rate by kind of, reducing the financial burden of
Okay.
having children. We know it's expensive, right?
Yeah.
And currently the birth rate I found out today is 0.81,
Ouch.
less than 1%. And
Yeah.
it's the only OECD country as such. So I think they're really keen on increasing the birth rate. And I always joke with my husband, like, I'm doing my part. I have 2 kids and us, us expat moms, multicultural moms.
I have 2 kids too.
Yeah, a lot of them have 2 kids
Yeah.
or more. So
Yeah.
we are kind of doing our part.
It's sort of really so sad because if you look at the birth rate, if it's at 0.81%, remember, you actually need you get married, you have a mom and a dad when you actually make a kid, but the result of 2 people is just 1 person. So that actually cuts the entire birth rate that much.
Right. It's very low. But yeah, some people have 1 child, some people have multiple children. But speaking of multiple children, have you ever heard of something called a 다둥이 card?
Oh gosh, I think I did, but I'm not sure what it is. What is it?
So it's a discount card for families with children.
Oh, that's why I don't know about it.
But also multicultural families can apply. Basically, if you show this card at certain government-sponsored, because government-run facilities like museums and historical sites, you can get a discount on entry.
Oh.
And for us, we especially use it for parking.
Oh,
So
how
if-
much does it give you?
Right. It's just like 200 or 300 won here or there in savings.
Okay.
And we usually use it to park at the Han River, which is also, right, government run. And even though the savings is very small, we were kind of calculating, I think we end up saving 200 to 300,000 won a year.
Oh, wow.
Just
That's a
from-
lot.
Yeah, a little bit. So
You go out a lot.
we do to the Han River. Yes.
Okay.
That's perfect place for families. But, actually, the more children, the bigger the discount. And that's how a lot of these
Oh.
things run as
Wow.
well. So have you heard of any other kind of good programs for people with
Actually,
children?
we do offer, I mean, we do mention any good programs out there or projects by the government when it comes to children. But what I am pretty sure, so it's different. What I'm pretty sure is that we have those from the central government, but we also have from the local governments. And it's different, every district. So it's not going to, I'm not going to accept or I'm not going to get the same amount in if I live, like for example, I live in Seodaemungu. If you live in Gangnam-gu, you might have a different amount or a different project altogether. So you actually have to check with your what do you call that? The 동사무소 or anything,
Like
or
the local district
the local
office.
district office for you to know what they offer you.
Right.
Now, let's shift, because I remember 7400 actually talking about how painful it is to give birth.
Right.
So now you have the Goon Mom card or the Pretty Mom card, and you have paid, your hospital fees. So what happens next?
Right. So the next step typically is the typical hospital stay in Korea after giving birth is 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
That differs from the U.S. In the U.S., they might have you out in 6 hours or one day later.
Oh my God.
So that was the first shocking thing to me. And then also before giving birth, you need to discuss your birth plan with the doctor. Will you be taking the medicine for pain?
Okay.
What kind of procedures you agree to or not? The key question that they ask me, and I think for other moms too, is usually you have a choice. The baby stays in the room with you or the baby stays in the nursery, which is also different from the U.S. In the U.S., almost always the baby stays with you
Yeah.
as well. But this only applies if you have a private room, which is an additional expense.
Okay.
Is not covered by the Pretty Mom card. And this is the norm, but with COVID, I heard a lot of the policies have changed.
Yeah.
Originally your spouse could stay with you in the hospital, but now they kind of restricted just mom, just baby. But again, it depends on the hospital.
Yeah, I remember way back we used to have, because I gave birth, my first baby, I gave birth to my son actually in a very small hospital just in our neighborhood. So we had a room, a room for me and the entire family, my husband and my kids as well. Now, after 2 to 3 days in the hospital after giving birth, what's next?
Right. So here we come to the 조리원, the postnatal care center. Well, I heard that you had discussed this on the show briefly before, but the postnatal care center, 조리원, is just one of a few options.
Yeah, I think we discussed it with the couple Bart and Hia because we were talking about having kids, how your plans, and she's already like keen on 산후조리원.
Oh, she loved it?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
no,
well,
not she loved it, but she is actually thinking of it because they don't
thinking
have
of it.
kids yet.
Okay. Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Well, I hope I convince her because.
okay.
Yes. Well, there's two very popular options. Many mothers opt for the 조리원, the care
The
center.
산후조리원.
Yes. Or someone called a 산후도우미, which is a helper who comes to your house after you give birth. And they help during the daytime hours to help you recover, as well as, I heard, cook food, help with laundry. And they even give you some time out if you need it.
Okay.
So if you don't have these two options, a lot of people also just go home with their baby and care themselves or get assistance from relatives. So how about you? What did you do?
I did not have any choice because we don't have 조리원 way back then.
Oh, there was no 조리원
There's
back
no
then.
산후도우미 way back then. So it's me and my husband and my mother-in-law who keeps on cooking miyeokguk for me.
Every single day.
Every single day.
Every single meal.
Now, how about you?
For me, I went to the care center twice.
For
Both kids.
Both kids,
Yes.
okay.
Because I loved it so much. The first time I was saving up the money every single day, knowing when I was going to have a second kid, I'm going to go again. So I'll
Okay.
explain. The postnatal care center is a facility where you stay after giving birth, typically for 2 weeks, but they have 1 week to 1 month plans
Ooh,
as
wow.
well. And you can fully rest there. They provide all meals. They do your laundry. They care for the baby. You can get a massage 2 or 3 times
You
a
don't
week.
do anything.
I'm selling it to you, right?
You don't do anything?
You don't do anything.
wow.
All you have to do is rest and then spend quality time with your baby.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if you feel tired, you can hand the baby to the nurse and rest. And honestly, I remember both times being the happiest time of my life. Like, I fully got a rest after giving birth.
I
so.
never had that. And I would understand why a lot of moms would actually want that because sometimes, we have sort of just a nuclear family living with us these days, not the extended family like we had before. So a lot of people could take care of the baby. These days, it's just you or your husband.
Right.
That's the only choices that you might have, So a lot of people are opting for this particular postnatal care center or the 산후조리원.
Right. And I just want to note that the care centers are not government-sponsored facilities. They are usually private businesses. So staying at one will roughly cost somewhere between 2 to 4.5 million, 4 or 5 million for the 2-week stay. But again, just my opinion, totally worth it.
Totally worth it. If you can afford it, totally worth it. Now, we had two options. One is going to the 산후조리원 and the other one is the 산후도우미 or, having a helper come over to your house, right?
Right. So many mothers also choose this option because they want to raise the baby in the comfort of their own home and, of course, create the stable environment and schedule for the child. So normally the helper will come to your home during the weekdays, 9 to 5, but you can choose. And they'll do everything for you, even if you want to go out or just go for a walk to protect your mental health too, right?
Yeah.
They will really assist you. And I do recommend this option for multicultural mothers who can speak a little bit of Korean because through my research about this, currently there are not many who speak English. So you want to have that good communication with them as well.
Oh, there you go. So you need to at least be fluent in Korean. Maybe, who knows, in the future we can actually have, those 산후도우미s who speak your own language.
That'd be great. That'd be a good business to start too.
I know. I'm thinking of it right now. So anything that you would want to mention for all of our listeners?
Yes. Well, for expectant mothers of multicultural families, I just want to say, Korea might be different from your home country, the birthing methods, the child care, the postpartum care, but don't be afraid to speak up if there's something you want. If you don't want to eat seaweed soup every day, tell them. If you want to stay cool instead of hot, you can do that. There's a lot of kind of superstitions revolved around childcare in Korea as well. So, definitely speak your mind. And for the moms out there, you can do it. Good luck.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the pain. I believe in you.
Yeah,
We believe in you.
7400. Don't worry about the pain.
Don't
That's
worry
what
about
Jem
it.
is saying. Now, I just would like to add this because we actually have talked about this in the show, but there's a happy box that you get once you register your birth, your child's birth, right?
Right. So another kind of government-sponsored thing is the Happy Box. They give you up to 100,000 won worth of items for the newborn baby. You can choose.
Yeah.
You just go to the website and kind of shop based on points, and then they will mail it to your house. But just a note, you have to register your child's birth before applying for the Happy Box as
there
well.
you go.
But it's a great benefit, and I still use the objects I got from it even now.
Well, there you go. So Korea is actually offering a lot of support for those for expectant mothers or after having kids as well. So just like what Jem said, don't be afraid
Don't be
of
afraid.
the pain. Well, thank you very much, Jem. I'm going to see you next week.
All right, see you next time.
And that's everything that we have here on the show. Men on Air, of course, is coming up next after a song. This is Hello by Serengeti and Yojo. And this has been Jasmine. Join us once again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Love y'all.
쏟아지는 저 태양이 우리를 막을까 부서지는 별들이 우리보다 빛날까 부드러운 바람 우릴 향해 분다면 우리는 우리의 우주에 있어 그대와 나 바라보면 그대와 나 웃지 그대와 나 바라보면 그렇게 난 그댈 보면 Hello 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 Hello
사랑을 얘기할 때면 언제나 유치하지만 그래도 난 어쩔 수 없이 좋아 못 견디겠네 그대와 난 바라보면 그대와 난 웃지 그대와 난 좋아 못 견디겠네 Hello
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 FM.
Soul Smarts, your one-stop guide to living in Seoul from TBS EFM.
In this Seoul Smarts, the Seoul Museum of Art. Want to explore Seoul but not sure where to begin? Here's a suggestion for those that are interested in checking out noteworthy architecture, the Seoul Museum of Art. Located in Junggu, the museum is known for its historical significance as well as its mixture of architectural styles. Inside, the museum features seasonal exhibits as well as low or no-cost public art classes. There are multiple exhibits going on across its grounds, some needing reservations. It is an ideal spot for those that prefer calm walks through art and those interested in learning more about Korea's cultural heritage. For more information, visit the museum's website at sima.seoul.go.kr.
Soul Smarts, get the latest living tips on TBS EFM 101.3.